Here's something strange. The older we get, the more we forget one of the most powerful tools for improving our mental health. And the interesting part is this: your brain has been begging you to use it. Today, I'm going to show you why something as simple as boiling a kettle in the woods can shift your brain out of stress and back into a state where you can think and you can create and you can heal again. Let me start with a story. When I first started working on the farm, long before we had anything here set up properly, I used to light a little fire just to boil a kettle. Now, why would I go to that effort? I could have brought a thermos flask with a hot drink from home. Much easier, much quicker, much more sensible. But there I was, sort of crouched over a tiny fire like a budget Bear Grylls, just to make a cup of tea. And at the time I thought it was just farm life. But looking back now, I can see something else that was happening. I was playing. I didn't have an explanation for it at the time. And here's where a bit of neuroscience comes in. When life feels serious and everything turns into effort, your brain tends to shift towards threat mode. Your amygdala, that little danger detector, gets louder. And the prefrontal cortex, that part of the brain that helps you think creatively and flexibly, that gets a lot quieter. So life literally feels harder because your brain has gone into a sort of protection mode. That's why burnout feels like walking through wet sand. Stress narrows your thinking and it shuts down your imagination and it makes everything feel heavier. But here's a twist. The moment you bring back even a tiny bit of whimsy or playfulness, when you let yourself do something unnecessary but just for fun, your nervous system gets a different message. It says we're safe enough to explore again. And in that moment, the brain starts to open back up. Playful, engaging activities are linked to increases in things like BDNF, which is a brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And that's a growth factor that sometimes people call brain fertilizer for the brain. Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? Because I'm not a psychologist or a scientist, but I can look things up just as well as the next person. And apparently BDNF supports neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to learn and to adapt and to rewire itself. Play also taps into the dopamine system, not just when you achieve things, but when you're curious, experimenting and exploring. And that's why being a bit weird feels good. Your brain is literally rewarding you for being alive and engaged. So all my experiences of life seem to back this up. Now let me tell you another little story about why this all makes sense to me. Years ago, when my kids were very young, we visited a little nature-based theme park in North Wales, and in the woods there was this big pile of sticks and a sign that simply said, "Build a den." Now, a sensible adult in me thought, I can't be arsed with this, and it's just sticks, you know. Keep moving, kids, nothing to see here, the cafe's down there, let's just go and have a brew. But my kids, they were electric with excitement. So we built one. It was wonky, wobbly, not going to win any prizes, but the kids just came alive. And although I didn't understand the science at the time, I do now. They were just playing. They were building neural pathways. They were firing up curiosity-driven dopamine. Their brains were in the ideal zone for learning and for growth. Now, of course, I'd done all my den building as a kid when I was playing out in the woods. They hadn't had the chance to do that yet. And here's the irony. Now I'm building dens in the woods with adults. And the impact is exactly the same because we don't outgrow the biology. We only outgrow the permission. And I believe that's one of the reasons our work at Burscough Community Farm is so effective. We bring back creativity, we bring back lightness, we bring back the kind of play that adults forget that they're allowed to enjoy. On a Reboot Your Life day, we built a shelter in the woods and boiled a kettle on a wood-fired stove. It's not because we needed to, but because it was fun. And you can almost see the shift in people. The shoulders drop, the breathing changes, their thinking loosens, and a little spark kind of returns. Why? Because playful, absorbing activities help ease stress hormones like cortisol. They support creativity. They strengthen social connections between us, and they're even linked with better health and longer life as we age. This isn't childish. This is biology doing exactly what it was designed to do. And here's the truth that most of us forget. Life is still a game, and your brain still needs play so it can function at its best. And as I said earlier, I don't really know the science behind all this. I just know the feeling, and I enjoy the experience. And I've seen it happening in people. It makes sense to me, and it feels right. When we cut whimsy out of our adult life, we don't become more efficient. We become more stiff, more brittle. And when we bring it back, even through tiny rituals like lighting a fire to make a cup of tea, the brain opens up again. We start solving problems more easily. We start imagining new possibilities, and we start healing. So here's my question for you. If your brain is wired to repair itself through play, what tiny bit of playfulness could you bring back into your life this week? Because the science is clear. People who keep playing just feel better. They become better. They heal. And if you want more grounded, science-backing well-being ideas, we're exploring them more every week here at Burscough Community Farm. So follow me, subscribe to our channel, and your brain will thank you for it.